Gowdy disturbed on legal, political, medical levels by Trump Jr.'s Russia meeting. This drip, drip, drip is undermining the credibility of this administration. Representative Trey Gowdy said that the details in the emails discovered by Donald Trump Jr. regarding a meeting he had with a Russian lawyer in June 2016 disturbed him deeply. During an interview with Fox News host Martha MacCallum Tuesday, Gowdy explained his concern had less to do with what actually happened at the meeting than with how it was handled. So in terms of this, Donald Trump Jr.'s story that's out there today, are you troubled by any of it? MacCallum asked. Yeah, I'm troubled on three levels, Gowdy said. Number one, the legal level, but I think that special counsel Bob Mueller's, that special counsel Bob Mueller's lane. The political level, Martha, here we are beginning another week, this one in July, with a new revelation about Russia. And the third, which is more of a medical issue, is the amnesia of the people that are in the Trump orbit, Gowdy said. A report from the New York Times on Monday titled Russian Dirt on Clinton, I love it, Donald Trump Jr. said, led to Trump Jr. disclosing his email correspondence related to a meeting he had in June of 2016 with a Russian attorney who promised to provide information on Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. Someone close to the president needs to get everyone connected with that campaign in a room and say, from the time you saw Dr. Zhivago until the moment you drank vodka with a guy named Boris, you list every single one of those and we're going to turn them over to the special counsel, Gowdy said. Because this drip, drip, drip is undermining the credibility of this administration, Gowdy said. Well, you may be right about that, MacCallum said. MacCallum cited the Magnitsky Act, which is basically a U.S. act that went through Congress that limits friends of Vladimir Putin, close associates, from things they like to do, like traveling to the United States, traveling throughout other areas in the world, because it's a slap on the wrist for human rights violations. Are you concerned that there was an effort to influence this campaign with regard to changing that, she asked, or to find a sympathetic ear on that? I'm not nearly as concerned with that, Gowdy said. I'm much more concerned with the words of the actual email than the real reason the attorney wanted to meet. Which words in the email disturb you, MacCallum asked. Russian government's efforts to help the Trump campaign official documents, Gowdy said. Oh well, let's take a listen, even though I know they don't have any case.
If you write anything,
oh, that's all we need, a commercial after all this.
Pretty much all day.
So here now with more, Congressman Trey Gowdy, the chair of the House Oversight Committee. Good to see you tonight, Congressman. Welcome.
Thank you.
So with regard to oversight and your role, and there's already discussions about wanting to talk to Donald Trump Jr. about this meeting on the Hill, is it illegal to speak to a foreign national who you believe is going to turn over opposition research on a candidate?
I haven't been a real lawyer in 7 years, Martha, so I'm not sure I'm qualified to answer the legality of it. The good news for us is we have a guy named Robert Mueller, who's a former United States attorney and the head of the FBI. And if you look at the document that empowers him with jurisdiction, the very first entry links coordination between the Russian government and members of the Trump campaign. So I'm going to let Bob Mueller sort out all the criminality. That is not the job of members of Congress, and it's not the job of the New York Times.
All right, so in terms of this Donald Jr. story that's out there today, are you troubled by any of it?
Yeah, I'm troubled on three levels. Number one, the legal level, but I think that's Bob Mueller's lane. The political level, Martha, here we are beginning another week, this one in July, with a new revelation about Russia. And then the third, which is more of a medical issue, is the amnesia of people that are in the Trump orbit. Someone close to the president needs to get everyone connected with that campaign in a room and say, from the time you saw Dr. Zhivago until the moment you drank vodka with a guy named Boris, you list every single one of those, and we're going to turn them over to the special counsel, because this drip, drip, drip is undermining the credibility of this administration.
Well, you may be right about that. In terms of this Magnitsky Act, which basically is a U.S. act that went through Congress that limits friends of Vladimir Putin, close associates, from doing things they like to do, like traveling to the United States, traveling, throughout other areas of the world, because it's a slap on the wrist for human rights violations. And it's selective in terms of who it impacts. It also, so their punishment, the Russian government's punishment, was to say, we're going to end all of these adoptions that are happening to the United States, and a few other things that they did. Are you concerned that there was an effort to influence this campaign with regard to changing that, or to find a sort of sympathetic ear on that?
I'm not nearly as concerned with that. I've had members of my own church impacted by the inability to adopt children from Russia. I'm much more concerned about the purported reason for the meeting as opposed to the real reason. The purported reason was for an agent of a foreign power to try to influence our election. That concerns me more than someone trying to sit down with a member of perhaps an incoming administration to lobby for a policy change. I'm much more concerned with the actual words in the email than the real reason she wanted to meet.
Actually, I think Mueller is compromised, so I don't even know what he's talking about. And this is just on and continuous. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.